first, my friends, it's time for that part of the show where two heavyweights of news go head-to-head in...
The showdown.
I'm running a rose between two thorns. Good evening and calm. In the blue corner, he's a bit quirky. It's political commentator Russell Quirk. See what I did there?
I did.
What a jacket that is. And in the red corner, she never pulls a sickie because she likes the money. It's TalkTV presenter Nicola Thorpe. How are we?
Very well.
Can I start by what I finished the last segment with? And I know we're going to argue. The Dambusters raid was quite possibly one of the most heroic things this country has ever seen. This, my friends, is the tripe I saw on BBC Breakfast News this morning. Have a look.
80 years after 19 Lancaster bombers took part in the infamous Dambuster raids, tonight a special anniversary flypast will take place over Lincolnshire to mark the occasion.
Infamous, Russell Quirk. Don't tell me, as I've heard all day, that you can swap infamous for famous and it's a mistake.
No,
that is absolutely typical, is it not, of the BBC?
They are two very, very different words with very different meanings. So, infamous, as in it was a bad thing, as in it was almost an act of terrorism.
Absolutely.
It doesn't really say much, does it, in terms of the defence and the respect of veterans and those that showed incredible bravery in the Second World War to win against fascism. The fact that the BBC sit there and say it was infamous, as in it was a negative, I think is absolutely disgraceful.
I think it was just an interchangeable word that was...
Have they apologised?
Preordained package. No apology.
It was scripted. It's scripted.
Yes.
Yeah, but it's just, I don't know, it's a word that people often use for something that I just don't think it's that big a deal.
Well, and
I
in fairness,
honestly
it's not
don't.
the presenter's fault, because she's written, presumably, she's
It
read,
wasn't...
She's read a link.
This is why I
I know
don't
it wasn't
buy it.
live.
It's one of the most
pre-recorded.
important moments in the history of this country, and you are degrading, as Russell says, Nick, with the greatest respect, people who lost their lives to give us our liberty. And I think it's another example. People get really angry and they go, oh, you know, we trash everything. These people and their memory deserve... That generation was brilliant, and it should not be trashed by some left-wing organisation that's supposed to be a balanced... No,
They were doing a whole...
Why use the word? The word was unnecessary.
Okay, I understand the word might have been a bit clumsy, but they were doing a whole package on the Dambusters. If they were so left-wing and they didn't...
But Nicola, they have
what
one
is
job.
left-wing about being against the Dambusters?
Which is to impart a narrative. They have one job.
They're not against the Dambusters.
They're supposed to be a balanced organisation. To me, and maybe I'm missing the point, that shows me absolutely again what the British biased corporation is all about. Seriously, I genuinely
They
feel...
really don't learn their lessons, do they? When it comes to their mandate being balance... Balance and unbiased.
But Jez, you've got to accept
that
they did a whole package on it. It wasn't like they were being biased on it at all.
And why I know it wasn't a fault with respect, Nick, is they did a package. That was written and it was meant, and that's all I'm saying. But I personally, because of my old man and because of his time in service, I resent massively how we decry that generation, that's all.
They tainted the whole package. Yes, they did a package on it, which is, you know, celebratory, but they tainted the whole package by using that word at the beginning.
They editorialised one of the most important things in this country's history.
They've decried it. They've decried it.
Now, this is more up Nick's, because Nick's, she's been on it all day. Can you do that face again you did
earlier? Behave.
Just do that. Right, sick pay. There are now 2.5 million more claiming it. The percentage of working hours lost rose to 2.6 in 2022, with an estimated over 185 million hours lost in a total of 5.7 days per worker because of sick pay. Now, my mother's... I don't know why I've done that northern accent. My mother's... They never had a day off sick. What's happened? Have we gone soft?
No, I think that the NHS has got waiting lists beyond what we've ever experienced before, so it doesn't surprise me that people are taking more time off sick from work because they are ill. And also post-COVID, people still suffering from long COVID,
Jeremy,
people who can't have operations, so they can't go to work.
We're clearly we're going to be the sick man of Europe. The fact that we've gone from 5 sick days to 7, the public sector have on average 9, so the public sector have on average 50% more sick days than the private sector. You have to ask yourselves why. A recent survey of 2,000 people by a big HR firm suggests that up to 40% of sick days by the admission of those 2,000 people surveyed are done on the basis of just wanting a day off. And even though those people get their weekends, they get their holidays, it's shirking, plain and simple.
I don't think it is. I just think I'm just going to reiterate my point because I think it's the strongest point that I have.
Softer now, mate.
What, genuinely as a country, define soft. I think if you
find
think
an
that,
excuse.
If you think that being soft is somebody who looks after their own, tries to look after their own health, takes care of their own mental health by admitting, do you know what, I need to take a day off, even if, you know, I haven't got a broken leg. We used to be a generation that said, if your leg's not broken, you're fine.
Right.
Actually, your head can be broken.
Okay, I absolutely get that. I think it's a very difficult subject because of, quite rightly, the light has been shone on people's mental health. I guess what I'm going to say to you won't be popular. Are certain people using that? I mean, for example, would freelancers who work like dogs in this place, I suspect they'll take a lot less sick pay than people on salary. That's all I'm going to say.
You know yourself, I've been in here when I've been very, very ill.
Yes, because you're freelance.
And we can only judge on our own kind of performance, really. And, you know, the fact that many people have 9 sick days a year, which is 2 working weeks, by the way, on top of their holiday. Yeah. I mean, I have 1, maybe 2, if that.
I want to move on.
There's a limit to how much you can get paid on sick pay.
But if you, as an individual that thinks that you work hard, as I do, doesn't need to have 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 days, why does the average, particularly in the public sector, have to have an extra 2 weeks off?
I've got to move on. This frightens me. Patients are being diagnosed with ADHD and given powerful drugs after unreliable video call assessments. An investigation of 3 private clinics. I have a very strong view. I'll leave it with you.
Yeah, so I'm actually going to slag off the BBC here, Jeremy.
Wow.
Because this is Panorama.
Well, he is.
I know. This Panorama investigation, I think, was a little bit misguided. I think they would have done a lot better to address why it takes so long for particularly women to get diagnosed with ADHD. I accept that there must be private clinics out there who do take advantage of people who are vulnerable and have got issues and have seen online, oh, lots of other people have been diagnosed with ADHD. I've thought exactly the same thing because I watched a TikTok video that listed all the symptoms and I was like, oh, maybe I've got it. So there will be private doctors out there taking advantage.
But this is really concerning on the basis that if you scale this up across the population, I mean, this is just one undercover reporter goes to 3 clinics by way of a referral from the NHS, and those 3 private clinics that person was referred to all diagnosed that person with ADHD completely wrongly. So went back to the NHS. The NHS said, you don't tick any of the ADHD boxes at all.
And
so let's scale that up across the population. We've got an endemic here, a pandemic.
You're saying the private sector's bad then in healthcare?
No, I'm saying that the NHS and...
So you're saying?
I'm moving. I'm not picking and choosing. I'm
moving on. I worry that people get seduced by labels.
But
that's
the cost
what
of
I'm
this,
going to say. And
the cost of this, in terms of lost days and pharmaceuticals and so on, is huge.
Very quickly, Russell Quirk. Wagamamas send chefs to a prison to train prisoners. The restaurant sent a team of chefs to the Category B prison, HMS Swansea, you try saying that, to train 15 cons, I didn't say cons, that's written there, in the art of cooking. The aim is to train prisoners so they can work on release and therefore help to cut out reoffending. Good idea?
Lagamamas, isn't it?
Hey!
Thank you.
You practiced that all day, didn't you?
Yes,
you prepared that.
This is probably the only thing that Nicola and I will agree on. I think this is a great idea.
Yeah. Agreed.
It's fantastic.
Yeah, fantastic.
So should we leave it there?
Yeah.
You will, because, Nicola, this is for you. Cheating has been upgraded. WhatsApp users joke the new chat lot, whatever that means, will be perfect for people having affairs. The feature allows users to keep secret conversations locked up with a password. A cybersecurity expert has warned that it could be used for nefarious purposes, with numerous Met police officers previously charged and sacked over discriminatory WhatsApp messages.
I think it's a great thing, actually. I think that people should have an option to keep their private messages even more private. A lot of people making the joke saying, oh, well, if you're having an affair, you know, you're going to hide it from your partner. But also it means that if somebody's in an abusive relationship, they can hide certain messages from an abusive partner.
I'm afraid cooperation and harmony is broken out in the studio here, because I agree. And I think actually, I mean, if I were to lose my phone and I had, let's say, various sensitive client conversations in WhatsApp, I would want to ensure that they were locked so as not to compromise my clients.
Finally, stay-at-home mum with 3 kids says her partner thinks she's totally selfish for wanting to go on holiday on her own for a week. Quick answers? I mean, what a disrespectful woman. Who's going to cook his dinner? Obviously a joke.
I think she's banged to rights. I think she should divorce him with immediate effect.
And I will say, not just because of Vic, but for people so they know where I stand. Let me tell you, having children and bringing them up makes any job in the world easy as anything.
I think, look, I support this. I go away on my own sometimes. My wife, funnily enough, today emailed me about her going away and doing something.
Emails, right, OK.
Well, we don't speak.
I won't be there when you get home. I'm going off on holiday.
Well, we're both so busy, we have to make appointments to speak to each other. Look, I
she always answers when I ring.
You could argue that this is healthy for a relationship. You know, a little bit of time apart. I mean, my wife says that the most time apart from me, the better.
This guy's such a loser. He works all day in an IT department, which I'm guessing means means he's sat down. No disrespect to anyone working in IT, but,
of course
you know,
not.
it's not, you're not walking around. The only thing that he does is walk the dog. That's the only chore that he takes responsibility
I think she should go on holiday and divorce him. Thank you very much indeed. Now, the